I got me this real Kentucky woman. I got me a real Kentucky woman. I got me a real Kentucky woman. Love and go down like a warm drop of bourbon. I got me a real Kentucky woman. And I got me some real steady loving. And I got me this real steady loving. You know that I got me this real steady loving. It ain't perfect, but it's better than nothing. I got me a real Kentucky woman. All them parts fall into place, from the blues in your eye to the curve of your waist. And my thoughts unchained are training just a little more. You got me thinking that maybe this be something. You know you got me thinking that maybe this be something. You got me thinking that maybe this be something. Head of my heart be worn out from all the running. Think I'll rest down here in your loving. All them parts fall into place, from the blues in your eye to the curve of your waist. And my thoughts unchained are training just a little more. Thought I had it figured out long ago, but each and every day you be starting to show me a better definition of love than I had before. Go ahead, split my heart in two. Let a little love bleed on through. Losing myself where grass runs blue. Home Kentucky, home's with you. Not quite sure where all of this is going. I'm not quite sure where all of this be going. Quite sure where all of this is going. My little lady got no towel showing. There goes my real Kentucky woman. And all them parts fall into place, from the blues in your eye to the curve of your waist. And my thoughts unchained are training just a little more. Thought I had it figured out long ago, but each and every day you be starting to show me a better definition of love than I had before. like a warm drop of bourbon. I got me a real Kentucky woman.
everybody. Welcome to Sound of Lexington. We have got Quints Revenge with us today. What an awesome freaking band. And also our host, Billy Crank. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hey, what's up? Well, we're here with Quints Revenge. Awesome band. We've heard them play today. And what we've heard, they are sweet. So, I'm going to, yes, sir. Let's start with this fella here. What is your name and what do you do in the band? Like, how many instruments do you play?
My name is Matt Valentino. I mainly play keyboard. I do a little bit of guitar, some lead vocals, but mainly background.
Right on, brother. Right on. What about you, brother?
My name's Joey Williams. I play guitar and sing a little bit, and that's pretty much it.
Aaron Gosper. I play guitar. We switch off to bass. I switch off to bass and sing a little bit as well.
My name is Joel Valentino. Primarily play bass and do vocals, but I'm also sitting on keys from time to time too. So.
I'm John Renshaw. I play the drums for the group.
Right on, brother.
Yes, sir.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your personalities, you guys go together. It's like that TV show Friends. Seriously, like you guys click, man. You're like, when I look at you, it's just like, hey, these guys have known each other for a long time or something. You know?
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of history together between us. It's really lucky how it all kind of fell in together as a group. So it's worked out pretty well for us.
True.
Yeah. Get the note.
Woof.
That's our other member going.
No. Another note I want to add, when you guys play, you have personalities. I want to add that in there, and it's good. I love to see that, and it gives a chance for the audience to kind of relate to you, especially people who play the instrument that you're playing. They're like totally. When I was watching you, he was like.
The faces, I know.
I know, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. I was totally into it, and the same with you.
It's gonna be our next calendar feature, actually, the faces of Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let's get that trending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Yeah. Instagram next big thing.
Right. But I love it. So, where did you come up with the name of the band? Quints Revenge. How did that come about?
Well, we sort of kind of came together, and like any band, with a lot of different opinions and things like that. We had trouble kind of coming up to an agreement and that kind of deal. So after a good deal of time kind of cycling through, we sort of figured we have our taste in movies that we kind of share, but kind of took to the sea captain of Jaws there, and so it's old Captain Quint's Revenge there. So
Awesome. What was one of your first choices, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, we had we actually can't say those on film.
Oh, really?
It's kind of unfortunate. But there was a lot of there were some really quality choices.
Okay, right on. Did somebody else possibly take that name?
They could. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily.
Okay.
But it's not, teach their own, as they say.
Awesome. All right. Well, like, what do you guys individually here? What do you guys like to do? Like when you're not playing the band and entertaining people, what do you like to do?
I'm a little bit more of an outside person, like hiking, camping, that type of stuff. Apart from that, I mean, as of late, I've kind of been slacking on that side of things, kind of been enjoying my spare time in the quiet, because my job's been taken over and just like,
Well,
kind of chilling.
I understand that. It's hard to juggle like a personal life and things that you like to do and try to work and make a living and all that stuff while doing what you love to do. I totally relate.
So it's mainly just the work, and this is kind of the hobby right now for me, and what's taking a lot of that side time, trying to keep up with staying current and writing new songs so that way we can keep the catalog growing.
Right. What about you, brother?
My life's kind of split 50-50, give or take, between playing guitar and programming. So that's what I do for my job, and other than that, just program this, hang out with my girlfriend, and
yeah.
That's life.
Hey, yeah, that's all good. And you also said you played Warcraft at one point in time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, I was addicted to that for a long time, so I can totally relate, man. Like I'm a total gamer. Like I love games.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it is. It's a good little release. You know what I'm saying?
You never get that time back.
Right, yeah. It's out the window. But you.
I play music when I don't have anything else to do. I just have. Hey, you do it too, don't?
How many other bands you got?
Shush.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that today.
Fair enough.
But no, I sit around, I watch Hulu, drink beer, and guitar in my hand. That's my life. I'm also in school. This semester I'm just training pigeons. It's kind of fun, kind of stubborn though. Pretty stupid. We got it to peck and next the other day, and we felt super accomplished.
Sweet, sweet. All right. What you?
I don't know. It's a lot of music for me. The most part, I'm lucky enough to work teaching lessons too, so I've got a pretty good plethora of students that keep me busy.
Right.
But in the meantime, I'm really a big fan of cooking and that kind of deal too. So my girlfriend and I do a lot of hanging out in the kitchen and making some good food.
Hey, you can't go wrong with some good
It's,
food.
it's the base of a good relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I found me a woman that can cook.
It really helps.
I'm good at microwaving.
It's a tough skill.
Hot pocket.
So you guys both go to UK, right?
No, I graduated a while back, but
I'm the only one here still in school.
Right. Okay. All right. I was gonna go into a whole nother sign of questions there, but
sorry.
it's all right.
Old.
Let's see. I'll pull from some of you guys' answers.
Hey, just be you, man. Hey.
Let's see. Well, I mean, you hit video games earlier. I love
Right.
video games.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to. Your question was like what we do, or what each of us
What your
do
hobbies.
outside of music. Which a lot of us, the majority is music. On the side. Matt mentioned, being outdoors, going hiking, things like that. Of course, we all have to pull down our jobs and hold those parts of our lives together. But then, video games, hiking, simple things like that. But yeah, a large part of it's music for me. If I'm not playing, I like to listen to it.
Right.
And we have both creative and analytical aspects of our music. So when we're not playing music, when I'm not playing music, I'd like to listen to it and just soak in what you listen to. I always try to grow in certain ways. So like it's definitely that's one thing that's brought us all close together is our passion for what for music.
Right.
So
That's what it takes.
even if we're not together playing, we're listening to something, listening
Getting
to somebody.
ideas, yeah.
And it just keeps flowing that way. So
Right.
I think that the interest is there between all of us. It's nice. It worked out that way.
It's late at night and I think that I've decided to share a couple hundred, got a pocket full of money, beware. I'm coming for you, you know that I'ma do what I can. And you know I can buy your desires only if it's looking like you're the type of item that I'm trying to get behind. Like a Kickstarter, donations must be made in cash, contribution keep increasing, baby, as the hours pass. Well, I can't erase the contribution to this time and place, so yeah. You'll make no mistake, you belong to me. Nice to know you, so I walk up to the corner of my sanity. I say it's nice to meet you. Could I please, baby, just treat you to an evening? She responds, look, honey, speak with your money. Just cut to that chase, cause I know what you're here for. It's probably good, cause at least that makes one of us. So I said, well, I can't erase the contribution to this time and place, so yeah. Don't make no mistake, you belong to me. tonight, cause I'm nervous but excited. Honey, calm down, it'll be better once you're inside of the hotel. Where her back's against the wall, and it's pretty coincidental, cause you're about to lose it all. Oh, God knows, I just want to bite it like an apple with a worm. I think I'd be first to try, I'm only 22. These mistakes last a lifetime. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be. No, no, no. It's not a simple symphony, it's all you're really meant to be.
How easy is it when you guys get together, when you pick up an instrument? How easy is it for you to just start jamming and pick up on each other?
The day,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
It's so cool to be a part of this instrumental improvisation type of approach to some things. Albeit we've got our organized spots, but it makes for when the points where you kind of pick up and it's just locked in super tight. It's really a lot of fun. But there's some adventure to creating that kind of sound too.
Yeah.
And you know, there are times it takes, you know, about we'll go through a whole practice sometimes and feel like, you know, didn't really click up, but you know, we're just grateful to be around such great musicians like these guys who can. I mean, we can kind of fill the gaps in where we need to, but it's always more fun when it just locks in 100%. You know, you can just feel it from there.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, when I watch you guys, I can see you have chemistry, and like I could see like when you pick up an instrument, especially today, like you guys like you're on it, like you've got that connection with each other. Keep that, man. It's really rare. It really is, and it's a special quality you can have.
It's part of the reason probably it took us so long to get together as a group. We all were looking for something that we actually, because we all came from bands where we weren't quite meshing up with the other players, but this has just been a real treat. I know for me personally, just to come in and be able to just sit down, pick up and play and have it be easy. It's really, it's just a great thing all around.
I remember when I was coming into this, I was the last person to start jamming together, and it was the only other group I played with was a couple cover bands, and you'd come to practice and be like, we're going to play these songs, and sometimes it'd still fall apart. And then to come here and not know any of the material and to jam so hard on it that sometimes the material doesn't even sound like the material. And it's just the first few songs that we played at practice, I was like, oh, music can be like this.
It's magical in a way. It really is.
Yeah.
Like it's a feeling that most musicians yearn for. They want that, and you guys have it.
Yeah.
And you're lucky. You really are. Like seriously.
It took a while. We've been playing together for about a year and a half. But like Joey said in the beginning, it was kind of weird getting a feel for it. But it's constantly evolving. Like even the songs that we've been playing since the very beginning, a lot of those songs are now something like Joey said, it's entirely different. It's taken on its own life. Yeah, it's really cool to see that happen. And where we all have different influences and styles that we like to draw from, how that comes together. A lot of times that's where the adventure piece comes in the jamming. But to answer your question, I think a lot of the time it clicks right away when we're jamming.
I can see it, man. Even if it doesn't happen right away, like I can see it's developing. It's being created, and it's happening. It's
Forever
awesome.
a work in progress.
Yes. So I got another question for you guys individually, if you want to answer. What was the first time when you knew that you wanted to play the instrument that you're playing or be in the music industry? Like what inspired you? Was it a person? Was it a thing? What was it?
It was a person.
Was it?
Yeah.
Who was it?
The girlfriend that I had in the 8th grade. She liked guitarists.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we can see how that turned out. I
Yeah.
like guitar a lot more.
Well, there's more girls than just that one girl that likes music.
Oh no, she was, I don't even want to go there. Yeah, but no, I stuck with it. And then I I got lessons because all my friends played Guitar Hero, and I was like, I want to do this better than you can on the real thing.
Right.
So I got lessons, and I bought my first guitar and my first bass within 6 months of each other, and I haven't stopped on
That's
either
great.
one.
That's
Awesome.
great.
So
You got the passion.
and the time. That's the biggest thing. It's the time. It's the time.
Right?
For me, my brother played guitar, and all his friends would always come over, and they always played guitar. But I never really looked at it as something I wanted to do because they were all really into John Mayer, and I was listening to like metal when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I went to a metal concert with this girl I used to hang out with, and there was this punk metal band called 36 Crazy Fists, and I remember watching them, and they were wild. Like the singer would be like jumping into the crowd and just do just crazy shit, and it was like,
Yeah.
who doesn't want to do this for a living?
Right.
It kicks ass.
Exactly, man.
Were there 18
awesome.
members to the band?
No,
Oh,
just
So there wasn't 36.
Just four.
yeah.
So 8 fists.
It's a Jackie Chan reference. Jackie Chan.
Nice.
That's something new.
For me, it was a little bit of a mix between people and I guess moments. I was a huge Beatles fan when I was a little kid. I listened literally like nothing else for many years. But I took lessons starting when I was about 4 years old, starting with piano. And then by the time I was like 7, I started learning the beginnings of like jazz and blues and different things like that. And from that point, I decided that I was going to be a piano performance major, and that didn't change until like about my junior or senior year in high school. And I didn't wind up majoring in that, but I knew from a very young age that playing piano and keys was something that I definitely wanted to be involved with, and listening to, like I said, the Beatles, and then right from there I went to the Doors, and it wasn't like a specific event, but just listening to all that music, I knew that I wanted to be able to write stuff like that and be able to play all of it. So that's what it was for me, was growing up.
Right on, man. It definitely takes a different type of creative mind to work a keyboard. Like, I mean,
It's
like,
different.
It is. And I've tried it. My dad, he plays. My grandmother, she played the organ, I think. But,
That's a different animal too. You
like,
gotta hold
it's its own creature, man, and it's awesome. When I see somebody play piano, I love it. It's awesome.
Right.
Let's see. I grew up playing sports and listening to music. It wasn't. Let's see. I guess in 4th or 5th grade, the grade school that was offered the school music program, and so I think it was in 5th grade. Started playing. I had to play the glockenspiel. I thought that was funny to get to the snare drum, you know, in the school music program. So none of us really wanted to play the bell kit. So but it was something we just had to do. And so listened to a lot of different music growing up. By middle school, my dad bought me my first drum kit, and I started getting into older music.
80s.
60s, 70s. I started to listen to older rock music, and then that was pretty much it for me. I stopped playing sports after that and kind of devoted all my time to drums, and it's enriched my life just throughout the years. It is definitely about passion, which you mentioned earlier. Time, like Aaron said, I mean, to commit to it or devote yourself to it. But I've been playing since, it's just taken off. And so I always keep playing. It's funny to try to think, when I'm older, if I could be sitting around 7 years old playing drums sounds kind of funny, I may have to switch to the keys, like, that creative mind thing there, but like go to the keys or something when I get older. But for now, I'm just gonna keep playing and hopefully see how all this goes with us.
I used to get the 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, you can see.
I used to do that when I was little.
People can, you see a lot of people.
I'm not really
like
coordinated
stuff.
enough to do that. I'm more of a bass guy. I play bass a little bit.
That's still really
Like my whole family, like they all play a different kind of instrument. All the way up to a violin and trombone and stuff. So
All right.
Got a family band going.
right on.
Well, I guess I kind of fell into bass like a lot of other bass players. I started out, playing guitar, but as I was kind of looking around for people to play with, there are about 100,000 guitar players, and nobody does rhythm section anything.
Right.
And so when I was in college, I had a buddy of mine who was doing the singer-songwriter kind of thing. He was trying to put a band together, and I kind of messed around with the bass guitar a little bit, and it was essentially the same low strings as the guitar. But thought, I want to play in a band. Why not try this out? And I just kind of took to it. Bass is really, it's been a more natural instrument for me. It's something that
I can relate to.
yeah, you don't. It's weird. You never. It's rare actually, I guess, for players to go to bass immediately. It's something that is just a little. It's kind of an undercurrent in the music, so it's not really the first thing your ear's drawn to. But the more you kind of dive into it, I've eaten it up pretty much. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, with the bands that I wanted to play in, everybody needed a bass player, so I was like, well, shoot, I guess I'll figure this thing out and try to make it work. And I've been lucky enough to be able to get plugged into a couple different places since then, and wind up here now finally. So,
That's good, man.
yeah,
Awesome.
it's been cool.
Well, I got one final question for you.
Sure.
Unless Miss Carolyn would like to ask a question.
Well, actually, I was wondering who's the main songwriter in the group, or are you all writing songs?
No, we can't really point fingers at this point. Our entire track list it's really kind of nice. The four of us actually have all written and sang lead vocals on our new album that's going to be coming out here in the next month. And we pretty much split the vocal and the writing responsibilities equally. But it's been kind of a cool collaborative process too, just in bringing in songs that are different varying levels of finish and getting everybody's individual take. I know that John has been a crucial figure in getting some of our arrangements together and things like that, and really polishing up, finding some cool interlude sections and things like that. So it's definitely a collective process. It's hard to pinpoint one individual who's carrying a lot of the load. And what else is nice about that is it does kind of lighten it up, so you don't have to feel like you need to be inspired 100% of the time. You know, if you're kind of not on top of it, you know, everybody else has got something that's kind of going on that we can sort of pick up and carry from there. So
That's good. That's good.
I got me a real Kentucky woman, and love and go down like a warm drop of bourbon. I got me a real Kentucky woman, and I got me some real steady loving, and I got me this real